Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. The Wii U is over. Online gameplay is over. The Nintendo DS is officially over. These servers are now shut down. And let me tell you, I'm pretty nostalgic right now, I'm not gonna lie. The 7th generation really is my favorite generation of all, right? As I've told you before, it's a generation where I got back into gaming after, taking a prolonged break of active collecting because of, raising children and what have you. And really it got me thinking about my exit of active, video game purchasing and what have you. But reflecting on what was the Wii U and the Nintendo DS, there's so much to learn here about business. There's so much to learn about, what to do when in business, especially in the video game business, you fall short, right? You fall flat on your face developing products. Now let's put these two consoles in perspective. Number one, the Wii U was a commercial failure, and it is loved more now than it ever was when it was actually out for retail. For me, this console, I have to say, is one of my favorite consoles because of just what could have been. The whole dual screen control is something that I love. I really do, especially when you're talking about RPGs or different ways that they try to implement gameplay into this pad. I wish currently the Nintendo Switch would do something like that. If it was a machine that was, where the console was on the TV and then you could just dock and undock, I think that would be the best of both worlds. If somebody could develop a Wii U type system where you could just undock it and take it with you, sort of like a Steam Deck, but also have a more powerful console connected to the TV, man, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. If any of the big three would do it, I definitely would be down for it. And things, for example, like the PlayStation Portable that just came out was directly, what do they call it, the Q, whatever the hell they call it. I haven't bought it yet. Clear inspiration from that, right? You're playing around the house. You're not going anywhere. Or at least you have to have a good connection. Are they going to develop gameplay for that as a controller, right, where you can control different games? That would be amazing for me. I think, especially when it comes to RPGs, man, the potential there is truly amazing. Having phone conversations with your characters, or when somebody calls you on the phone and picking it up on the tablet was amazing. I mean, there's always ways to get creative with these games, and the potential that the Wii U had is something that was left unexplored, and for me that has a bittersweet taste. I put the Wii U in the same category as I put the Sega Saturn, for example. Great machines that just didn't get the support that they needed, and and they're just sitting there in history. What's going to make it difficult for the Wii U, fan base out there to keep it alive, because how do you make servers and how do you make different products if you want to keep this machine alive when Nintendo is so litigious? I mean, who would want to risk it? Put all that, put all those resources to play, spend all that money, and all of a sudden, they shut you down. So it's going to be very hard to maintain the legacy of this machine overall. Other than being a collector's item, maybe a homebrew game here or there, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because, independent game developers are not going to have the resources to develop a game that works both on, on the big screen and also on the Wii U gamepad. It just takes a little bit more, right? Maybe with the advent of AI, it might make it easier, but still, it's going to be difficult. And then looking at the success that was the Nintendo DS, 3DS, which actually kept the company alive, right? It really kept the company thriving, because that system was selling gangbusters, absolutely gangbusters. And it gave us so many great titles. You know, my favorite Nintendo DS title was Soul Hackers, and will always be. So it holds a very special place in my gaming memory, in my heart, right? And got me back into gaming when I was in the hospital and what have you. And if you take both these things, you know, if you take the failure of the Wii U and the success of the DS, both of those things, from a company perspective, built what now is the Nintendo Switch. Taking those two concepts, putting them together, and now they have what arguably is the best gaming library in history. And I'm not just not saying that, you know, just because of the moment or because I feel nostalgic. But if you really took a look at the breadth of and type of video games that this machine can hold, it's not the latest and greatest, but it gives you access to so much of the past, at the same time giving you access to many of the current games that are playable today, right? It's that perfect hybrid. But none of it would have come to play if the failures of the Wii U were not there, if the success of the DS wasn't there, right? And that is what you have to do in business. Businesses that don't pivot, businesses that don't focus on what the customer wants and what the customer doesn't want, right? Because you have to read the room, you have to be able to read your public, you have to be able to move with the trends of the market that you're working in. And that's what Nintendo did. The strength of their IPs really carried them through. And in the end, that's what really keeps Nintendo always in the top 3. You know, #1 in console sales. And that customer brand loyalty, right? Always acquiescing to the wishes of the customer eventually. Not, you know, they're not very quick about doing it, but when they do it, they get it right, and it really has to do with quality. Whatever you want to say about the Wii U or the DS, in general, there were quality products, right? You had issues with battery life, you know, maybe the screen folds, people were a little too hard on them, probably here in the West more than in Japan, right? They were not perfect machines by any means, but they were great Nintendo products. They were great Nintendo products. And for me, like I tell you, I'm feeling a lot of nostalgia because I know, right? I know that this is it for me as far as, you know, buying console games. The PlayStation is, this current iteration of the PlayStation is going to be my last one. After this, I'm just going to focus on, you know, retro stuff, PC games, what have you. Whatever's, you know, more feasible. With Xbox, it'll be a little bit easier because of the Game Pass, and I can just play on PC, you know. But this is it for me, you know, just like it is for Nintendo. I think there's enough games that have been made for me to play from now to the rest of my lifetime. I have enough games to play, you know, forever. I'm lucky and blessed enough to be able to say that I have that large of a collection, right? So focusing on anything more besides what I have right now, you know, I just don't see it. It would have to be a very special event, and there's so much to explore still, right? There's so much to explore with the game systems that we already have. Whether it be new accessories, whether it be new homebrews, whether it be anything else, there's just so much that we can dig into and remember and play in these consoles that I think I'm set for a while. Well, guys, I just wanted to just really sit and reminisce about the great games that these two consoles had. Right? For me, the control scheme is still one of my favorites. The layout of the Nintendo Wii U. I'm buying that new grip that's coming out, so it makes the Nintendo Switch feel more like a Wii U. I definitely like the button placement a lot better in the Wii U. Let me tell you, that's a fact. I think most Nintendo players would tell you that. And all the great games, you know, that were on the DS, nice and portable. That it just came in a perfect era where, you know, cell phone games weren't there yet. You know, they weren't as popular, and people still, that generation still remembered old Nintendo video games. And of course, they weren't going to buy a Wii U because, just, you know, they already had a Nintendo Wii, right? That's all marketing. But when we reflect back on this time, I think in the future, it really is going to usher in the new era of hybrids and how we're going to game in the future and what gaming consoles will become. You know, who knows? But I'm sure we'll remember these times fondly. All right, humans, thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate the likes and comments. Thank you for coming for the memes, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.